So I can tell you about Georgia. Georgia's about Georgia's about to become the powerhouse for green crypto. We're going to be mining it with hydro and amongst many other things. 100%
Wow.
green. And it's not just going to be that. We're going to introduce a concept. Well, we didn't create the concept, but it's called merge mining, or correlate exactly, I should say, with Bitcoin. And we're working out now the ratios with some of the pool operators so we can actually pull both. And quite soon, this one is actually getting put onto Binance, and it's probably we're gonna probably want to make it one of the exceptions to the rule on the 700-day sort of data tracking, because what we're going to be able to do is actually show how this one is going to basically come from relative, like, I won't say obscurity, but it's like it's sort of inside crypto's called Hathor. The symbol
Yeah.
is HTR, and Hathor really is designed to meet some of the modern requirements that Bitcoin cannot yet satisfy from a blockchain perspective. And right now, you can get it on KuCoin, and a couple of other exchanges are accepting it. But soon it's going to get up to Binance. FT Pool, which is a meta pool operator, now sort of verifies it. So we are like 100% positioned to really sort of take advantage of that. And currently is trading just above like I think like €1.20 right now.
Nice.
So the upside is tremendous, and sort of the growth on this one has sort of started to move a lot faster than the other Bitcoin forks. So I don't know if you guys want to weigh in on the potential of that, but these are the wonderful things that are coming out of Georgia, and this is the creativity that we're starting to see, and I really started to sort of come out where we're going to have the value creation for non-yielding assets, specifically around the crypto there. But I can tell you, like, El Gato is like at least 1.5 shisha in. So I'm feeling very nice at the moment. This is some of the kindest tobacco I had in a long time. I'm very happy.
Me to try the tobacco here.
That's nice garage.
You see?
I know. We gotta do it. Yeah. I was just like, fuck it, like, might as well try it out.
This is 100% coin analytics all the way.
Like, let me really.
We go direct to the source on all this stuff.
Quality property developer of Georgia, the ambassador of Ireland.
I'm in.
I want to raise a glass.
I want to raise a glass. Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I want to raise a glass. I want to raise a glass to this guy. This guy.
Don't embarrass me.
This guy.
Don't embarrass me.
No.
You're in Georgia. You have to be.
I'm only gonna say the bare minimum of the truth, and then you get to know him more. He's staying until Sunday. You know, like, cause he's not a guest. Like, the guests are leaving soon. He's staying a little bit longer because he's a buddy. That's why he can leave with the other card. He's our fucking bro. This guy. I tell you the story. Can I tell like proper Georgian toast about this guy? Because you all know this guy. He's been a guy that's been always around. We have a very close friend of his who's financially supporting our business, because we collaborate and work together as partners, just like here. And his friend who's supporting us is from Uri. Uri is the most conservative state of Switzerland. Think about like, bro, think about San Megrelos Fanetti, but in Switzerland. That guy is being christened by those most conservative Swiss guys to be Swiss. He got a Swiss passport faster. Like, you know how hard it is.
I know.
You know how hard
He
it is.
lived there for 2
His
years.
brother-
Like, he had 1.5 years to get it, and he left to Ukraine.
Might I say, with all my humble Georgian toasting skills, her brother is a very important guy. That's how I connected this guy. Now, all these guys, this Luxembourg, this bond, these millions, it's all him. Now, he went through hell and back with me. all this shit. When I was fucking struggling. This is a proper Georgian toast to you, the first.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Because it's your first visit.
Yes.
We've been looking forward to this moment for years,
For
bro.
years.
Bear with me, guys. Years. Years. He's known this guy. You guys know this guy. This is a fucking proper guy. Look. Years we're waiting for this moment to say this toast.
Yes.
Not only he's being the earliest person to ever become Swiss. Not only that, he's gonna be one of the few guys that on the first visit already makes up his mind. You know what? He's more Georgian than you think as you get to know him in the next few days.
I already understand because we have like too much in common.
Like, bro, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Like, he just has the vibe. He has the swag.
Perfect finish for
In
you.
our barbecue a couple days ago, he was singing from his heart. I was like almost crying. Singing. Those from singing. That's
I saw your videos, bro.
God.
I saw those
Like singing with that soul. And this guy, you can take it from any angle. The Swiss passport, the Ocean's 11 Ruben bastard, like that bastard, you know, Ruben the boss. That's killing his mansion in Vegas. Like, yeah, Danny, do this, do that. That's him. Plus, he's Swiss. Plus, it's the first night, Will,
Yes.
that you're gonna drink like a Georgian.
Okay. I'm ready.
Because when you're in the Shark Tank,
Yes.
you gotta do it. We're killing this bottle, and this bottle, and this bottle, and another bottle, and that bottle. He's as Swiss as it gets. Cool. We scheduled a meeting for Thursday. On Tuesday,
Yeah.
we had a BlackRock Capital Conference
Yeah.
at Bahnhofstrasse in
Yeah.
Zurich. Guys, being there, you know what it is. And I'm happy that tonight he gets to drink like a proper Georgian with the proper locals, with the permission diplomatic crowd, with the locals of the locals,
Ah.
with the we stand up for this shit.
I can say that this is a real special one.
Thank you. Thank
Real
you.
Georgian guy. I like
Thank
that.
you. I'm honest.
That's the truth. Nika, thank you. I'm honest.
In the near future, when we're almost like finished with the bottles, it's gonna be your closing toast.
Okay.
Just
no
saying.
problem.
Start
No
thinking.
problem.
I'm guessing he's living at largeable.
Yeah, he's out for the night out. But it's alright. Trusting Canal for sure. Selling on FUD is a sure way to be poor.
Yes, yes. Rocket Man is here.
What's your shitcoin of the week?
Rocket Man is here.
Oh, is that
Nah,
Rocket?
he's actually diversified, man. He's got loads of coins. And he's doing well, bro. Today he did well,
Good
Andrew.
man.
He was buying in at the low with me.
Good. Outstanding. Which ones did you get in the end then?
I bought. I don't know. Let me check. I bought.
Is there that many you've forgotten?
Yeah, I bought one Binance coin.
One Binance coin.
Yeah. I think that was. I think I got it at. What did I get it at? I got it at just about one. I got it at 190, so I kind of did well on that one because I think the lowest it went to was 180, so that's okay. It's at 190 now, so the lowest it went to was 162. So no, I didn't do. I thought about high up, but yeah, can't time all these things. Yeah.
Still good. It's still good. That's
Yeah,
fun.
and I bought Cardano, my favorite. Got that for cheap,
Cardano's outstanding.
and I bought Link as well, and that's it really, I think. And I bought VeChain and some.
It's more than 5, yeah? More than 5 you bought, yeah?
Yeah, VeChain, ChainLink, Quantum. Bought some Bitcoin.
Sorry, what was that last one? Quantum?
Yeah, Q2UM. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's one I just don't know. I don't know much about it, but I read about it for a bit. Oh, okay. let me just see. And also Shiba Inu. I got Shiba Inu, bro.
Oh, fucking hell. I know that coin's easy.
Bro, Shiba Inu. That's my thing. That's my go-to. But yeah, what about you?
That's good. That's good. No, that's a good little portfolio you have there, for sure. It's
you know.
mixed. Have you optimized it yet? Have you used the optimizing tool for that? Yeah.
I'm still. What's optimizer tool?
So basically, choosing how much you weight your buy-in. So obviously, you don't just put it. Let's say you've got 5. You don't just put 20% in each of those 5, right? You weight it, so it's based on performance.
Yeah, that's. I'm still new to the game, so I got a long way to catch up yet. But
Well,
I'm
get used
sure.
to it. You know what I mean? Go on to you've obviously got access, right? So start learning now how to do
Yeah.
it. So next time when you get to a place where you're selling and you need to rebuy something else, you
Yeah.
can do it then, right?
I think the one thing I need to learn is that, like I spoke to, if you sell when it's high and then buy low, the percentage increases versus if you hold, kind of thing. So obviously you're not always going to get it right, but yeah, I think the next step is trading it, like selling it, then buying back in again, recognizing the signals and buying and selling rather than
Exactly.
just holding.
And even if let's say there is the occasional one signal that's not right, make sure that you have a strategy in place that there is a stop loss, right? So you know what I mean? Let's say you're off by 20%. Again, based on the technicals that you look at, the drop down menu in markets, it gives you the max drawdown for both the strategy and the market, right? What you'll
Yeah.
notice, obviously, the strategy is always better, but what you want to do as well is you still want to cut that problem, right? So even then, let's say if it's like 40% max drawdown, really, it's kind of going wrong when it's above somewhere 20%. So you may want to put a stop loss at 20. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, I get you. I think the biggest fear I had, and this was not understanding, is when Cardano, I think it was 131 at one point. I think I bought it quite low and then I went back to 131. And obviously there was this fear of, if I sell now and it keeps increasing, I'm going to be at a loss. But I kind of realized that at the moment things go up and down all the time. So it's just about looking at the signals and learning how to do that, and just, again, you're not always going to get it right, but you should get it right most of the time.
And I say this to most expert traders will tell you this, right? Actually, the game is not to get the lowest trough and the highest peak, right? You're never going to get that. And if you try and chase that, you're probably
Yeah.
going to get a heavier loss. So it's better to go for points, which is what the system does, of where it's basically going to make sure that the trend or the direction is in the correct direction, if that makes sense. It waits to the point of which it's definitely going in that direction. Then you buy in or sell in. Does that make sense?
I get you.
Even the most expert traders, they don't dare go for the tip and the trough, right?
Yeah,
You're losing money,
it's very
right?
hard to pick that. Yeah, it's very hard to
Oh,
pick
yeah,
that.
yeah. Now, I recognize that today you're not always going to get spot on, but what I've started doing, which I didn't do before, and this is why on some of them I'm at a loss, is that I didn't cost average, if that makes sense. If I was going to spend £200 on a coin, I'll put that £200 in at once. But now I just do £50, and then I'll wait about an hour or so and maybe put another. Do you know what I mean? Just so it spreads it out rather than putting 200 in and then thing. Because like I said, you can't always get it right, and you can't always get the lowest point. So you just have to kind of just, do the
Well,
best you can.
I would say I like your idea of that, but treat the spread as the different coins as opposed to the same coin. What you want to do is if you've made the right decision, put the entire money of your choosing for that particular coin at that. But what you want to spread is the differentiation of the coins. Does that make
Oh, yeah,
sense?
yeah. No, like I said, I bet a number of coins. When I said £200, there's probably another £200 I'm putting in other coins, if that makes sense.
Perfect. That's
So
more like
yeah,
it. You'll be okay, right?
yeah. So because again, for
Do
example,
you understand now when you ask the question, why is it that all the coins are going in the same direction? Do you understand now when I gave you that very straight answer? But a lot of
yeah.
people don't get that, right? Funny enough, and they should.
Well, what I've
Like
seen is
some,
that it seems like everything lives and dies off Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes down, everything else goes down. If Bitcoin goes up, everything else goes
no,
up. So
because it's not Bitcoin. That's why it's the dollar.
okay,
right? It's the dollar that's getting impacted, which makes sense why everything then has a change and shift.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, the dollar's not weakening that much.
Well, right. I say it's not
Maybe
necessarily the right.
the
If you look at the
expectation of the
money
dollar,
supply,
maybe expectation of the dollar, fair enough, but not the actual dollar.
if you look at the money supply, they're almost parallel. They're in lag,
Okay,
yes.
so why is a car not going up and down 20% every day?
That's because of people's perception and what they believe. That's to do with the middleman haggling rather than actual
You're telling
direct
me
technical
that
data.
the actual dollar weakened 20% today? No, that's bullshit.
It wasn't today, no, but it was 2 months ago, yes.
Yeah, well then that should have been reflected 3 months ago then.
No, because if you look at the way that how it's correlating with stuff, there is a lag. There is approximately a 2-month lag.
And to be honest, not since yesterday and today we're flat realistically because we went down 20% and now we're back up.
Correct. And if you look at the money supply, right, it had exactly the same thing, literally the same. Have a look at it. All you need to do is look at the kinks, right, as you say, where it changes. You'll notice the same kinks in price are happening with Bitcoin. I mean, obviously, I've used Bitcoin as the metaphor, but you can do it with all the coins, right? And in fact, what I'd like to see is that 20 coin weighted average versus the money supply. That will be even more precise. I haven't yet been able to do that, but I'd like to.
Can I put it into simple terms? Why does the market crash? Just like a simple kind of easy to understand.
Fair, isn't it?
Seasonal.
Like China banned crypto. They went to the banks and they say like, with the banks are supporting them in banning crypto. People sell on based upon that news, and then I guess another bit of news came out. But in reality, that's all kind of like white noise. But the main trends and cycles are just general nature of markets, energy, psychological.
Seasonal. That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's
psychological behavior of human nature is cyclical, right?
Okay.
Everyone gets interested in something, and then it gets boring, right? Same as energy, same as light moves in cycles, right? Nothing is constant. That's the reason.
Okay.
That I agree with, right? And that's why I'm saying, but you see, but when it goes up or even downstream, there's going to be a lag, right? So your person selling a piece of bread in a retail will have a price shift later than someone that's producing or manufacturing the bread. Does that make sense? So this is the same with all the markets, depending on what sector they are. There's going to be a lag from the point of which the monetary supply increases, or they call it quantitative easing, and inserting it into the supply by the time it reaches the commerce, right? So there's going to be a lag. That's what I'm saying. Why to say, oh, then you would see 20% of the dollar has lost its value? No, right? Number one, it's proportional for starters, right? 20% down for the fiat system in terms of its market capitalization is far greater than Bitcoin, right? Way greater.
Yeah, no. But because the Bitcoin BTC is denominated in USDT, right? So when you told me that it wasn't to do with Bitcoin, it was to do with dollar, I would disagree with that. I'd say it's to do with.
Okay, so why is it all the other coins are falling in a line in the same trend?
Because they do correlate to the Bitcoin because everyone's either bullish in cryptocurrencies or bearish in cryptocurrencies. It's all working as the same organism, right? If they're putting a blanket ban, well, they are. They're saying they're banning. No, they're saying they're banning cryptocurrencies, right?
Mate, that is, there's a lot of people talking, but I completely disagree with anything that the news pumps out. I don't know if you read the thing with Michael
This is what you have to understand. This is what you have to understand. It doesn't matter if you disagree with that. It matters with what the market agrees with. Now, if I hear a piece of news, you hear a piece of news, Andrew hears a piece of news, we all challenge that news differently. Or if I hear, oh, banks are now banning cryptocurrencies, I know that's been a phase for the last 4 years. China saying banning. You know that as well. Not to say you're not.
No,
Just
I
maybe
agree.
you wouldn't know that, right? You might say,
No,
oh shit, this is massive news. I'm going to
yeah.
sell.
That's true, but what you'll notice is, and how this is what I'm saying, where it just becomes an excuse and bullshit, is that news gets released after the actual event takes place. So I agree to a certain extent what you're saying. If there's a lot of spin, right, and bad news on something, it may
No, but
convince a
I mean,
certain level of
what am I
people.
agreeing with? What am I agreeing with you? The big trend, I agree with you, is based on inflation, is based on many different factors, right? The big trend, right? But this stuff is white noise. It's like little
Yeah, I agree.
things.
That bit
It
I
doesn't
agree, right?
it doesn't
But
impact the long-term trend is bullish, right? But these small events cause, minor corrections and stuff like that.
I think what happens is as well, like, I think when I look at these blog sites, and I look at Reddit, and I look at, other community forums, like, for example, like Dogecoin or Shiba Inu, right? People are looking at it to get rich, and they invest a lot of money, like average people like me, right? Trying to get rich off not fully understand how things work. And then when they say there's £1,000, right? That might be that only £1,000 they got left. But then it goes down to 750, and they're like, "Oh, damn, I need to pull out." So
Of course.
I kind of feel like the lower it goes, for me, for example, when I set out, I said, "Okay, I have this much money I want to put in. I don't care. Obviously, I want to win, but if I lose it, I'm good. So I don't have to. The fear and emotion is taken out of me because I see it as a long-term play." But some people, they especially these YouTube videos as well, they say, "Get rich, invest in this, invest in this,"
exactly,
and
right?
then they invest their money that they don't really have. And then when it's just dropped half,
So
I remember,
sad, yeah, it's so
yeah,
sad.
yeah, and then they sell, and everybody's selling. But I got another theory as well, and maybe this is a theory that other people think as well. But again, I'm new to this game. It seems like I was a late starter to this, right? I didn't really believe in it. I thought, what the hell is this? A cryptocurrency? It sounds nonsense, right? And I think many people like me are now recognizing, especially that these major corporations and maybe these hedge fund managers realizing they need Bitcoin. They need to have Bitcoin in their portfolio, but they don't want to pay 40 grand for it. They don't want to pay 50 grand for it. They want to kind of get at the cheap, the bottom end price. So is it fair to say that the markets are manipulated to the point where, the rich again are able to work together to play the market, where the poor people who haven't got money, or the average person who doesn't really have money, is the one that's being exploited?
Right. Okay. Now we're talking. Now you're right, and this is what I'm getting at.
I
Right.
agree with
If
that.
you
Yeah.
look at the money supply, that is a way of them doing it. Right. Also, with the incredible spin that they're putting on the market to try and convince the average Joe what is actually happening, when it's all nonsense, and it's a way for them to try and manipulate what they can with what they have in order to get at an early, or get the dip effectively. It's no surprise that 2 days ago, MicroStrategy almost put in 500 million in, right? But then if you look at the last 4 months before they put that in, there was constant nonsense around, oh, crypto at the moment is quite pumped. There's clearly a bubble that's ready to burst. But you don't think they sponsored all those articles? Of course they did. The one I saw today, it's just come out. Michael Burry,
Yeah,
he's the
I've
guy in the
seen.
film The Big Short, right?
Mhm.
And yes, he's like become a kind of a celebrity now. What has he said? Right? Or sorry, or should I say, what has been printed recently, when he's actually said that months ago, right? But what they did is they carefully edited it to just talk about crypto and how it's overinflated, right?
Well, he
And how
wasn't talking.
it
He was
could
talking
get
about
worse.
traditional markets.
He also talks about the traditional markets, but if you notice the articles, they only focus on his statement on crypto, not about the entire everything, right?
Yeah, I
He
know.
actually, in
Selective,
his
selective.
original article, was talking about actually the housing market again. He was talking about all the commodities, the hyperinflation, all of it, right? But
And
what
if
do?
you,
They focus on
Andy,
that little bit about crypto.
every single market out there has been manipulated. Gold, silver, massive manipulation. Commodities, massive manipulation. It's proven, like it's been proved.
Silver, it's gone down.
No. And they come out on news. Oh, there's oversupply in corn or something. You know what I mean? And the price goes down massively, but there's a shortage. And then news comes out, there's a shortage, but they've already bought in at the low.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? It's and Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, I can imagine it's the same thing, right?
Yeah. So, but when
There's
you talk
always going
about,
to be a level of that,
so
always, right?
when
But what I will say is, because of the nature of how crypto is designed, it's more robust and resistant to that, right? What unfortunately it can't combat at the moment, because it's a relatively young market capitalization or small compared to the other markets, they can't deal with what they call the whales, right? With the people that come in with 500 million, that will inevitably impact the market, right? Whereas if it was a coin with a market capitalization of several trillion, right? Those whales would have less impact. Does that make sense?
speak about crypto, right? One of the main things you talked about was decentralization, right?
It's
Okay, yeah, but you said you talk about, obviously, I imagine you're in crypto for profit, right? For to make money, but also you have this insight about, pardon?
of course, I'm in there to
Yeah,
make money.
but also it seems like basically what you said about before about crypto being decentralized and destroying the banks, etc. Who owns the banks?
The shareholders,
Okay, so what's to say that the shareholders then can't control crypto?
they can, right? They
Okay,
can if they all start buying into a crypto. Yes,
okay,
that's why I'm
okay.
saying for now they're vulnerable in terms of the whales, right? But the whole point is that if there's enough people that get into crypto and suddenly its market capitalization is huge,
Okay.
the whales will have less impact.
Okay. So now, because it's relative, I think it's like what 1 trillion market, 1 trillion, whatever. So if it was 11 trillion, the WOWs wouldn't be able to manipulate it so much because there'd be a wider range of investors.
Well, they have less leverage, right? It's all
Okay.
about leverage, right? If
But
one,
bear in mind though, like it's all about market volume as well, right? So like they could still manipulate the market heavily.
I wouldn't say heavily. I would say yes, there would always be an element of that. But if there's
Well, gold is
a large
what's
enough
gold is a 12
capitalization,
trillion. Gold is $11 trillion market. They can
yeah.
manipulate that very easily.
The reason why they're able to manipulate that is purely because of the fact that they control supply and it's hardware, let's say. They can't do that with crypto. Make
Yeah, at
sense?
least crypto is very transparent. You can see the if there's whales trading and stuff like that.
The opposite, or it's completely privacy based. That's why one of my coins is Monero, right? It's all about complete, like no transparency at all. It's completely private in every way.